Alright, Eddie, so the lesson that we're going over today is about syllabication, okay?
There's some lead up in there.
And syllabication is how we take big words, okay? Words that have a lot of letters in them, and we break them down into their syllables. You've learned about syllables before, right? What is a syllable, Eddie? What do you remember about syllables?
Like a word, like a letter.
Okay.
Like
Did you have your pencil with you?
no. I'm good.
Okay. Alright, so we're talking about syllabication, which is breaking words down into their syllables, okay? And syllables, Eddie, are the beats to a word, okay? So syllables is basically breaking down words into chunks to make it easier for you to read, okay? So basically, when we do our syllabication rule, what we're gonna do first is count the number of vowels in a word, okay? And when we count the number of vowels, that's gonna tell us how many chunks that we can break the word down into, how many syllables there are, okay? So, Mr. Pencil, real quick. So we look, okay? So, I'll show you right here. We have our vowel counting rule, okay? We count the number of vowel sounds in a word. That will tell us how many syllables the word has. So let's look. We have the word ask, right? How many vowels do we see?
3.
No.
One.
Vowel, just the A, right? So, because there's only one vowel, there's only one syllable in ask, okay? Every syllable has to have a vowel sound, okay? But, when we say vowel sound, that doesn't mean just one vowel. That means also maybe two vowels, maybe next to each other that make one sound. That's a vowel sound, okay? So, if we want to figure out how many syllables are in a word, we count the number of vowel sounds there are, okay? So in ask, there's one vowel sound, so we know that there's only one syllable. Same thing with weird. Even though there's two vowels, there's only one syllable because EI make one vowel sound, right? And then I give you another example where there's two syllables, okay? We see that behind there's an E and an I, right? So there are two vowels. That means this word is going to have two chunks in it, B and hind, right? So B is one syllable and hind is another syllable, okay? So we can figure out how many chunks are in a word by counting the number of vowel sounds, okay? And like I told you, sometimes it can be one vowel, like in ask, or sometimes it can be two vowels making one sound, okay? So we need to count the number of vowel sounds to see how many chunks we can break the word down into, okay? So what we first do is count the number of vowel sounds, all right? And then after that,
You can find one cube inside of 640 if you can't multiply your fractions.
so Ed, we're gonna try to use that on maybe our first example right here, okay? We have this word. We're gonna count the number of vowel sounds that we see, right? We see that there's an E.
1.
And then
I 2.
3. Alright, so we see 3 vowels. That means that there's going to be 3 chunks that we can break the word down into.
Can you get a marker and put like the letters that are the?
I have a marker right here, okay?
Can you put like the E, I, like the ones that are?
Vowels?
Yeah.
You don't remember? Okay, we'll go over that. Vowels. I'll write it down for you. A,
Yeah.
E, I, O, U. Okay? So, if we want to figure out how many chunks are in a word, we have to count the number of vowels, but at the same time, we need to remember if we see any of our vowel teams, they count as one vowel because they make one sound, okay? So we count the number of vowel sounds in the word. Tell us how many chunks are going to be in the word, all right? I see that there are 3 vowels in this word, so that tells me there's going to be 3 chunks that we can break this word down into, okay? Does that make sense to you so far?
Yes.
Brian,
Okay, so
please go sit right down
after
here on the rug.
we
and do
figure
not
out
play with the animals.
how many chunks we're going to break the word down into, okay? We're going to start breaking the word down now into syllables, okay? And the way we do that, we first use a double consonant rule, okay? And what that basically means is that we look at our word, and if we see any consonants next to each other, we split them up, okay? As long as they are not a consonant team that make one sound. See, I gave you some examples of consonant teams, like TW and ST and twist. They always like these consonant teams that work together to make one sound. So you never break those up, okay? But what we can do first to break up our word is look for any double consonants and we split them up, okay? So we look at our word right here. Do we see any consonants that are next to each other? Let's look.
Oh yeah. I and
I is a vowel, right?
Yeah.
But we see an R and we see a T next to each other, right?
Yeah.
So what we can do is split between the R and the T, okay? So right here, ver, this is one chunk and this is the rest of the word, right? So we need 3 syllables and so far we only have 1 right here, right? So we're going to use the open and closed syllable rule to break apart the rest of the word, okay? So we first use double consonant to break up any double consonants, and then we have to use open and closed syllables to break apart the rest of the word, okay? So so I'm going to start trying to pronounce the word, and we have to look for open and closed syllables. An open sound, just like how vowels have 2 sounds, right? A long A sound named A, and a short A sound like A, right? Every vowel has 2 sounds, right? A long sound and a short sound. The syllables, they have 2 different sounds too. They have a long sound and a short sound, okay? So open syllables have a long vowel sound, and open syllables must end with a vowel when we syllabicate words, okay? So let's look. I gave you some examples here. We have reward, okay? So if you look at re, we hear the long E sound, right?
so this has 2.
So since we hear the E sound in re, that means this syllable has to end with a vowel, the E, okay? And then same with this word, we have local, right? In the low, we hear the O. You don't hear local, you hear local, right? So it's a open syllable. Since we hear the long vowel sound, that's called an open syllable. And open syllables have to end with a vowel, okay? Same with our third example. We have basic. You hear the A sound, right? It's not A, it's not basic, it's basic. We hear the long A sound, right? So this is open syllable. Open syllables are syllables that have the long vowel sound, okay? And open syllables have to end with a vowel. And on the other side, we have closed syllables, okay? Closed syllables have the short vowel sound, and closed syllables have to end with a consonant when we syllabicate words, all right? So in the words like pat, you hear the short A sound, ah, right? It's not the A sound, it's the A sound. So you hear pat. So it has to end with a consonant. You see that? The T doesn't end with the A, it ends with a consonant T. The same with like bet. We hear the short E sound, we don't hear beat, we hear bet, right? So it has to end with a consonant. And lit, we hear the short I sound, right? So that's a close syllable and it has to end with a consonant. So anytime we hear the short vowel sound in a syllable, it has to end with consonant. Okay? It's a little bit confusing, but I'll show you. We're going to go back to our example, okay? So we have vertical. So far we figured out that we split the R and the T because of the double consonants, right? Splitting between two consonants. And when I look at tickle, we have left here. Yeah, we have tickle left, right? I hear tick. Is that a long I or a short I sound?
Long guy.
A short I, right? So we don't hear tight, we hear tick, right? That means it has to end with a consonant, okay? So we split it up after the C, okay? And then now we have our three chunks, our three syllables. Ver, tick, oh. Okay? So we can use our rules of how to break up words to make these words into chunks that make it easier for us to read, okay? So I'm gonna show you some examples, okay? And then maybe we can try doing it by ourselves, all right? So next word, we have this word right here, okay? Okay. I'm not even gonna try to read it, we're gonna try to break it apart first, all right? So the first thing we're gonna do is, I'll let you hold the pencil, we're gonna do the vowel sound counting rule to figure out how many chunks we can break the words down into, okay? So let's count, how many vowels do we see? One,
2,
mm-hmm.
3, 4.
Okay, so we see 4 vowels, so that means there should be 4 sounds, right?
So I could read?
So let's write 4 right here for the number of syllables first, then remember there's gonna be 4 chunks, okay?
So
And
I'm gonna
then
put it right here.
let's see first, after we figure out how many syllables there are, let's look for any double consonants, right? Do we see any consonants next to each other that we should break up? Let's see, we see my, we see a C and R right here, right? But are those consonants that we should break up? No, that's a consonant and we don't break that up, right? And then we have an SC. Should we break up the S and the C? I think no. Yeah, it's on our list of words that we should, letters that we shouldn't break up, consonants we shouldn't break up. So let's start to slowly read it. Okay, we're gonna use alternate syllables then, since there are no double consonants. Let's slowly start to read. My. Good.